Hello, everybody. This is Dwaine.
And this is David off mute.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. Tonight is our recap of episode 8. Was it called Wrinkle in the Plan? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wrinkle in the Plan. We are live. stwdd.com/live. If you don't watch us live when we record and you want to, that's where you go. We record every Sunday and Thursday night at 10 o'clock Eastern time. There's a chat window there, and you can get in there and chat. Right now, David and I are in there chatting. Yeah. Well,
Actually,
I'm in.
Minimize my screen so I can get in there. I went big, and now I can't find the red button or the green button.
David's got this nice new 17. Well, not new, but this nice 17-inch MacBook. He can have like 8 windows open at a time and not even care.
All right, I went big screen with the green. Now I can't find the green button to go back to the smaller screen.
Nice. Hey, we do want to thank you. Christmas is on its way, and thank you already for those of you who are doing your Christmas shopping on Amazon and using our link to get there. It's on our Facebook group, always the top post on Facebook. It's the pinned post. And on our website, links to Amazon everywhere. Just click on it and start your shopping there. Hello, Mike K. Nice to have you in the chat room. So, David, we have our 12th and 13th supporters through Patreon this last week. We are up to 13 monthly supporters on Patreon.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we're going to give a big shout out to Cindy Hano. And if I got it wrong, she's going to take off her, donation. Hi, Janice. Good to have you in the chat room as well. And to Ben Cohen. I doubt that's Cohen. I'm sure it's Cohen.
Yeah.
So thank you to Cindy and Ben for being our 12th and 13th supporters through Patreon. You can support us. Patreon, Amazon's the best way. You can even give one-time donations. Go to stwdd.com/support. All right, David. It is time for initial thoughts. We'll talk about T-shirts and hoodies later on in the show, but you have less than a week to get yours, and they're good prices. So, and if you're supporters through Patreon, you get a little extra discount. So hop on board. Hop on board. David, you ready for your initial thoughts? I have 2. How many do you have?
I've got 1, so why don't you do your first one?
All right. My initial thought, as Omega Ken said on our Facebook group, and let me just tell you what, David, this thread that I did not mean to start and make it a big deal, all I said was, so what's Jeremy doing to make him such a good player? And we have like 200 and something responses to it. And I was supposed to be cooking. I took a vacation today, and I was supposed to be cooking, but Omega Ken and Miko were going at it. And I was watching and going, oh, please keep it nice, because we're family friendly. Please keep it nice. Yeah. And they did a good job, but you could tell they did not like some of the stuff they said.
Yeah, I could see the dinner in the crock pot, but I never saw any other picture that anything else got done.
Well, I did do some voiceover work, but maybe you'll ask me about that later. But
this was good about the poll. See, the polls said just answer the question.
Yeah.
And I printed out the answers. It's not nearly as long, and yours went to like 4 or 5 different topics.
Oh my gosh!
It kept coming back around, but man, it was like a feedback heaven. Yes, going back and forth.
Really was. Yeah, one time during the middle of it, I don't know, maybe 128. I wrote on there, subliminal message, feedback show, carry on.
Exactly.
So anyway.
And that's what would happen if we had some of those folks on the show for a feedback show. We'd just mute and let them go.
Yeah. But anyway, as Omega Ken said, way towards the end of it, target Baylor and you end up going home.
There you go.
Baylor's like, if you're going to target Baylor, don't let anybody know about it because you might be the one going home. That's one of my initial thoughts. Did you say you had 8?
No, I had 1.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what's yours? And I'll tell you my other one.
What's different for me this season is that we're doing initial thoughts 24 hours later. And
yes.
If I don't write it down, because last night I was more happy last week, which I think was odd. Is that me squeaking or you squeaking?
No, I got this weird mic's noise.
Oh. Last week I was actually okay with it, like I said. This week it flustered me, but not because Josh went home, because he's not even my pick. I don't want Josh or Jeremy to go home. But back around, I think it was 2005, a movie came out called The Sound of Thunder. It had Edward Burns in it, who, as my drama coach told me back in high school, a phrase, has the acting talent of an eraser.
Wait a second. Really? The acting talent of an eraser?
He said that about Lee Majors, for those of you that know the 6'1" man. That was his phrase for Lee Majors. Exactly. But that's my thought on Edward Burns. But there was this movie called The Sound of Thunder, and it was a time travel movie. And what happened was they would take rich clients back in time to this path, and you stayed on the path, but as what you paid for was a chance to shoot a dinosaur, to kill a dinosaur back in the past.
Really?
Exactly. Had Ben Kingsley and everything.
Wow.
And the rule was you stay on the path. And what they would do is go back to the same time in the past every trip, so they knew that dinosaur was coming. They would tell the customer, be ready, they're going to come around here, and then they would come, and then they'd shoot, then they'd kill it, and it'd be gone. So one time they had a customer freak out. He left the path. He got a bug stuck on the bottom of his shoe. Then he came back to the path. When they went back to the future, it was completely different. A different tangent, which is the greatness of Back to the Future, where the doc's talking about different tangents. We are on a different tangent this season because of Julie's quit.
She stepped on a bug.
She stepped on a bug, thank you, and we are going to get a completely different season than what we would have gotten 7 days ago had Julie stayed in the game, or if she had left sooner. You know, if there had been a vote last week and somebody else had stayed. Her quit completely changed the face of this entire season. And it's so because we got every indication that Jeremy was going home last week, which I didn't really want. But it was every indication, and it would have been Jeremy. It would have been Baylor. It would have been Missy. It might have been John and Jacqueline or whatever. Completely different game. And with that one quit, we're going to get, in my opinion, a completely different game now. Totally different. So, and it's interesting. That was my initial reaction. Was like, I went back to the quit last week. Wow, you know what a giant ripple effect. You know what we're on a different tangent, a different parallel universe, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It completely that quit completely changed. And the funny part was at the end when Josh was giving his exit speech during the where they show the votes. I'm thinking Josh was kind of okay with her quitting because Jeremy lost a number. Jeremy wanted to keep her. When it turns out Josh should have been the one trying to keep her, so they could have gone to tribal council and finished what they were trying to do.
Yes.
So, but that was, I know it took a long time, but that was my initial thought. Was that wow, what a complete? We're on a different universe. We're on a different path now to the end of this season.
Right. It's the whole butterfly effect thing.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey, while I'm responding to that, put up your overlay so that the video doesn't keep doing all this funky stuff.
Oh, where'd it go?
I don't know.
Where'd
your overlay go? But what I was going to say was I was going to mention this later in the show, but this is why I think that the producers pushed her to quit earlier than she would have quit. You know, because if she had not quit, she would have been on the jury, right? And then Jeremy would not have been on the jury. Let's assume Jeremy goes home last week. Okay? Yeah. Jeremy's not on the jury, and then she lasts 2 more weeks, maybe, right? And then she quits, and they don't want to have a quitter on the jury, so they have one less on the jury, and they have a great guy in Jeremy sitting on some beach somewhere out of the show. So I think that production, knowing she was even thinking about quitting, and Jeff even said pre-show, pre-season, that he's afraid she might quit. That's why I think they went ahead and said, hey, look, let's go ahead and get Probst, and let's get you out of here.
Yeah, because we got a lot of indications to that last week through exit interviews and other comments, and I don't think they did it to save Jeremy. I think they just did it to save the jury, like you said, save the jury. Get
fair.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily think they were working about Jeremy, and I don't think you do either. But they wanted to save the end of the season. They wanted to have a full jury and a full final, whatever it's 2 or 3, whatever it's going to be. But yeah, I understand. And okay, so they stepped on the butterfly production.
Yeah, yeah, they stepped on the butterfly.
That's right.
And all right, I have one more initial thought, David.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if Alex ever had a steady girlfriend. Or if he did, she wasn't steady for very long.
You could probably pile in Wes for that matter, too.
I mean, I don't know. Alex is a little more condescending than Wes is. Wes is just, burping and throwing up and having diarrhea out in the woods, or in the water, as Scoopins told us they do.
Yeah.
But Alec, man, he's like, you know what? I'm better than you. So here's this trash. and she's not going to build a fire. He's just openly condescending and stuff. So I can't imagine he has had a steady girlfriend. Maybe he has.
At least not one that thinks for herself. I don't know. I don't mean to insult anybody, but one that would put up an argument, so to speak.
I guess. Or maybe he dated someone in a parallel universe where they're still in 1785.
Who had a butterfly tattoo.
Yeah.
Somewhere on her back.
And she's still in 1785, so she wakes up every morning saying, Alec, what can I do for you? I live to serve you, Alec.
Yes. You reminded me of a thought I did have last night. It's like an initial thought. I'll make it quick, a lot quicker than the last one.
It's a 24-hour thought.
Exactly. Note to future castaways. If you haven't seen the seasons of Survivor, and you're going to be watching a few seasons before you go out there, don't just watch the challenges. Don't just watch when idols come out. And don't just watch how alliances work. Watch how people play the social game. Because there's some people in this season that stink at a social game. Absolutely, without a doubt. It's social game. You can lose at everything, Sandra, and still play the social game and still get by and still win the game. But if you can't play, because 90% of the game, 95% of the game is at camp. You only go to challenges for an hour or a couple hours, but you play at camp for over 90% of the game. And if you can't have a good game at camp, you're not going to last, and you're certainly not going to win.
Right. If she were my daughter, I'd done given her a whipping.
Man, there are so many different things about this episode. That's another issue.
Right.
But we'll get there.
All right. Oh, man.
Are you serious?
Yes, we are very serious. All right, my friends. Let's get on with the show. Initial thoughts. We've already done that.
I was about to say, did we just do that?
I stepped on a fly. All right. Huyopa. It's easy for you to say. Huyopa, day 19. And who's talking about Julie? Who is not happy?
Who is showing her side of the game? Missy.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but this is not where you do. Take a lesson from Jeremy. He doesn't gripe in person. He gripes to confessionals.
Yep.
That's where Jeremy, to me, is nailing this game. He's not talking out loud, and don't be so obvious.
Right.
If you sense that you're in trouble and you sense the majority is glad she's gone, hey, be glad with them.
Yeah. Don't show your cards. Yeah. I love the look that Jacqueline gives when John says he thinks we're just being deceitful. When they're walking on the beach together?
Yeah, and I'm going to talk so I get the camera, and then she...
Yeah, he's like, I know we're just playing the game, but I feel like we're just being deceitful. And she rolls her eyes like, you idiot, of course we're being deceitful. That's what we're supposed to do.
This episode really separated on a strategic level John and Jacqueline.
Yes.
And it's almost like Jacqueline's like, look, I'm a girl. Girls don't win this game very often, but I'm going to help get you there, my love.
She's playing the Hillary Clinton role.
She's playing very well. We got a lot of good stuff from Jacqueline in this episode, and John's just the golden boy of, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Do we have to be so deceitful? And she looks at him with her eyes rolled and says, where are we? We're playing Survivor. It kind of goes with the territory.
Yes. That reminds me of a joke that I heard once. Would you like to hear it?
Sure. Once.
Because I said she's playing the Hillary Clinton role, meaning that Hillary Clinton got Bill Clinton to be president.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Hillary and Bill are out driving. I don't know why they're out driving, because they obviously don't. They have drivers. But they stop to get gas. Right? Mm-hmm. And he looks over at the guy that's pumping the gas. I don't know where they went to do this. But anyway, she looks at him and says, hey, I used to date that guy. And Bill's like, really? Well, aren't you glad you married me? Look at who you'd be married to if you had married him. And she said, I'd be married to the President of the United States.
I haven't heard that one. That's good.
So Jacqueline, if John wins, maybe it's Jacqueline who did it all.
Well, he even says that at Exile. Talks about how she's helped him so much with his game. And I wrote out John, Mr. Nice Guy, and Jacqueline, Miss Oh Well. If we're deceitful,
Yeah.
oh well, that's kind of how
Yeah.
you got to take it.
Yep. So CBS is not hiding the fact that Jeremy would have gone home last week.
Right.
John and Jacqueline clearly saying they were going to vote for Jeremy. So if Julie had not quit, Jeremy would not be in this game anymore, and I might have a chance in our D&D Survivor Challenge.
Hey, it's slowly going to come back, brother. It's the names are going to start clicking off, and you're going to start coming back.
But I got to say, even though I do not like the fact that she quit, and even though I don't think she should have quit, all right, I understand what you were saying in our last episode.
Ooh.
I don't know if it was our feedback episode or if it was our recap episode.
Yeah.
Okay? But you were saying that you were glad she quit because Jeremy's still in the game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? I understand because I'm glad Jeremy's still in the game.
Yeah.
All right? I would rather him be in the game than Julie be in the game. I
Right.
just wish maybe she had said, vote me off or something instead of quitting. But nonetheless, I see where you're coming from, but I still don't think she should have quit. But I'm glad that Jeremy's still in the game.
I think we're getting on the same highway here.
Are we on the same?
We were on different roads before, in the same direction, but on different roads. But I think we're getting to the same. Let's put the highlighter down. Same path.
Life is a highway. All right. Let's go to reward challenge because, after all, they went to it awfully quickly. Why don't we?
No kidding. We got much of nothing.
So this is a challenge designed for people not like you and myself. This is designed for very fit people.
Yeah, it's not designed for people on the other tribe like Baylor.
I know.
Why would you pick the teeny little Baylor over the little bit bigger mom?
Well, this is when you wish you could have seen the schoolyard pick. You know?
Yes, absolutely. And we don't need details. We don't need who should we pick. All we need is clip after clip after clip of pointing, because I want to see if Reed picked first, if he picked
right,
and then Jeremy has to pick somebody. Just
right.
say who they're picking and stuff. Just do quick. They never give us that stuff.
No, because how in the world do Keith, Natalie, Reed, Jeremy, and Wes end up on the same team, and John, Alec, Baylor, Josh, and Jacqueline end up on the same team?
I wrote 3 firemen and an athlete, which would be Reed.
Yes.
And the strongest woman left in the game.
Exactly.
Yes. I mean, against a footballer, an athlete, and a surfer, a singer, and I guess a former pageant queen. I'm not sure what Jacqueline does right now. But, I mean, come on. That's not even close. I'd really like to know how they picked that.
I know. Okay, at least Missy's not on a team. So there was some level of intelligence.
You know what? They should have put Missy on the other team. They should have given her to the other team anyway. It was that bad.
I've seen schoolyard picks in shows like Top Chef where they'll pick 2 team leaders, team captains, but they don't pick for themselves. They pick for the other team.
Ooh. Hey,
how cool would that be?
You need to tweet that or something, because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
You get Missy first.
Yes. I guarantee you Missy would be playing, and Jeremy be sitting over on the bench.
Wow.
That's right. Anyway, so they're playing for Taco Bar. Now, okay, I just let me get this, David. Let me get this off my chest.
I'm here.
All right.
Let me go Fraser on here and say, go ahead, Dwaine. I'm listening.
It annoys me. Not really annoys me, but I would feel cheated had I been the tribe that won, because it is an understood, whatever the next word would be, it is understood that when you win a reward challenge, you get to go to the reward, and there is an idle clue hidden somewhere. Okay? In this case, you win a reward, and you go and you eat a lot of tacos, but there's no hidden immunity idle clue. I did say hidden immunity idle clue, didn't I?
Yeah, I got what you're saying.
Did I say immunity challenge?
Why isn't there an immunity challenge at the reward?
Did I really say that?
I don't know. Somebody listening will tell us.
Anyway, but okay, so they obviously don't know that before the challenge, but I'm just saying, to me, they should have given them a hidden immunity idol clue at the reward challenge for a clue at the camp. As it was, the losing team gets the advantage. because their person gets to go and get a clue.
That's right. That's a neat little twist. I was talking to somebody at work today about this very thing, and I have a theory as to why there's no clue. Because they never found the clues at the first two rewards, so they just stopped trying to put clues at the rewards. No, but I love.
Hey, Keith had to go to the bathroom, and he used the clue to clean up. Oh,
So then,
this toilet paper has writing on it, but I'm gonna go ahead. My wife said there's some fancy toilet paper out there with writing on it, so I guess I'm gonna use it.
wow, this is like official Survivor toilet paper. It's got print and everything on it. So the next reward.
Around the whole. Okay, go ahead.
The next reward, they're going to put the clues on the plates before each of them
Yes.
sit down. Please read before eating. This is not a napkin.
It's gonna say, you idiots, look at this. All right,
but I love that twist. I love that twist of, and since we're talking about it, let's go back for a second. Who do you send to exile? Did they say was John the right person?
John.
No, you don't.
John, because he's your swing boat.
You are, what are you catering to?
Correct.
You are working with. You do everything possible to make John and Jacqueline as comfortable as possible, and this is going to be a theme throughout the episode. And you don't start by sending him to exile. Now, unless you want to say. Unless you come out and say, well, we know John's tough, he can handle it, he hadn't been there yet, and we want to give him a chance to find an idol.
Right.
If you come right out and say that, John's going to look at you and say, I'm going to go find an idol. Thanks, guys. I can do this. I mean, he didn't starve to death. He even didn't eat food because he wanted to save some for later. So, he wasn't starving or anything. In fact, he was getting alone time, which some of us as adults can recognize is a good thing sometimes.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with a little alone time.
Would have been better if Jacqueline was there, but still.
That would not be alone time. But
yeah, it would.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would have. I mean, come on.
But at the same point, being out there, you're not forced to talk the social game. You're not forced to do any great thinking, especially as a pair, because Jacqueline's back there doing all the work. He can actually relax in a sense. I mean, yes, he's going to look for the idol, but I'm sorry. To me, I would have thought, not knowing there was going to be an idol, knowing that there would have been a clue at least, I would have sent Baylor, because I want to send somebody in the other alliance, flat out in the other alliance, that might crack, that might go out there and have the worst time of her life, and might come back just deteriorated, just miserable, and just make people want to vote her out or just not want to be with her. I would send somebody that I would hope would crack. I wouldn't send somebody that I'm trying to keep ties with.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, you're sending Josh back with his tribe with less people in his alliance.
Right.
Send Josh back with John and Jacqueline and whoever else is left.
Right.
So I just thought it was a terrible idea to send John.
So let's see who. Oh yeah, I agree with you completely. I was thinking that an individual picked, but the group picked. So.
Yeah, and for those of y'all that thought that Keith was a mean old man that doesn't like women and just mean, his first thought was, I would feel bad sending Missy there.
Yes.
That was the first comment he made. So don't pick on the old guy.
Yeah. Don't pick on. By the way, there's a lot of people in the chat room, and I'm trying not to. In fact, I'm not reading it, but I just glanced down just a second ago, and I'm sure it's incredibly interesting because Mike in Cleveland is in the chat room. So this, and Mike K. So this just got to be really interesting. But Mike in Cleveland wrote.
I just read it. Go ahead.
Sometimes it bugs me that David and I like the same shows.
Oh, I was reading his other comment that says something just isn't right about a Southerners trying to mimic Southern accents.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, I was born in. Well, I mean, I grew up in St. Louis, through the 5th grade anyway. All right, so they're playing for the taco bar, schoolyard pick. Now, Mike K. From SoCal has an interesting take. He says, I think the schoolyard pick went like this, with Reed and Baylor picking first. Now, I have no idea why he thinks Reed and Baylor picked first. But if they did, I mean, let's go ahead and speculate. Right? Okay. Reed goes for Jeremy. Baylor goes for John. And then, obviously, Jeremy picks next. Jeremy picks Wes. John picks Alec. Wes picks Keith, Alec picks Josh, Keith picks Natalie, Josh picks Jacqueline. Missy left out. So, there you go.
I wonder why he thinks Reed and Baylor. because
I
that,
don't
I mean,
know.
unless it was names drawn out of a hat, it could have been just names drawn at random.
Well,
Um,
I just thought it'd be fun to speculate. We could we could pick any two and say, okay, this is how it went.
yeah, I
But
think we should. Well, we got a couple. Mike has a good point. They could have sent Alec to Exile Island and told him later, "Hey, did you find an idol? We knew there'd be an idol there."
Alec
There was
would
a,
be like, no, there was no women there to do stuff for me, so I just sat around.
yeah, I couldn't eat because nobody was there to cook the rice.
Yeah,
So,
just a bunch of trash laying around the camp, and Baylor wasn't there to throw it away.
all right, Mike K explains that he saw the press image of Baylor and Reed standing by themselves, probably
That's
slightly
true.
separated. So if
That's
that's how it started, I mean, it could have just been a random selection as to who picks who.
Right.
Good point.
All right, so go ahead.
No, just
Point
thanks.
being they should have sent Alec.
Yes.
All right, that blue wobbly piece. If I was John Mish, I would have been a little worried about that blue wobbly piece hanging over my head.
Yeah.
Probst was right. If that thing falls off, it's going to take you out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Woo. Oh, Omega Ken says that Josh said in his exit interview that Baylor and Reed were the captains.
Ah.
So there you go. All right, so Yellow wins. They get tacos, but no hidden immunity idol clue. I've already shared my thoughts on that. And they choose John. We both agree it's a bad choice. So let's go to the taco bar.
Let's.
Well, did you like the challenge? We didn't even talk about the challenge.
Love the challenge.
Yeah, I did too.
Love the team. I loved how everybody put the puzzle together. This kind of was a puzzle, but everybody was working on it. I love that.
Right.
I
It was an
loved
easy
it.
puzzle,
It
granted.
was yeah, because the lines, you just put the lines together. And form.
These are the big pieces. They go on the bottom.
The only thing is, well, I mean, you couldn't, if you're going to do a random selection for captains, you just take luck as it goes, you know. So they were just, depending on who you picked, and of course Baylor's going to pick John first. So.
Right. All right, so let's go to the taco bar. All right, David, it's the reward challenge. It's time for some strategy talk. It's going to be a great part of the episode.
Because
Remember last season with all the strategy talk that went on while they were getting their legs done and everything? I just couldn't wait for this to happen.
Because that's what they do at reward challenges.
But apparently not.
Oh, okay.
Apparently not. Although Keith does give it a hi-ho try.
Oh, okay. Well, instead of talking about strategy, can we just talk about what might have happened if Julie hadn't quit? But I don't know what would have happened because she was my vote. Jeremy is doing everything in his power to hold back and not say anything.
Oh, I know.
And once again, we get it in the confessional where you're supposed to do it.
And Wes almost blows it. Yeah, I was going to do Julie. And Wes like, well, I don't know what he was going to do, but I was, I'm like, look, you are not Sawyer from Lost. You are not the con man. You are not.
Keith said, I was in trouble. Wes goes, and I was in trouble. Give me another taco. Double meat, double cheese.
Anyway, so that yeah, double cheese. So that was kind of funny, Keith trying to pull that off, because really everybody knew that no one was going to vote off Julie.
Yeah, Keith tried a couple things this episode. Just didn't quite work.
Yeah. Boy, Wes, man, he must have just scarfed so much stuff down, because we don't even get day 20, and on day 22 he was still feeling. He was like, man, last night I got up and took dumps all night long. Oh, man, day 20 must have been horrible.
He should have had some coconuts. Get that laxative moving.
Woo. Anyway. All right, so great line from Keith. I wish I had gotten this audio clip, but Wes is a good kid. He ain't been in jail yet. That's how you know, my friends, that you have good kids.
And you know how to tell if your kids are still alive, right? If they're burping.
Yeah.
What do you say? He said,
I'm gonna tell Nathan, you're a good kid. You ain't been in jail yet. What else did he say? You were about to quote something?
He said, as long as you keep burping, I guess you're okay. So, that's right from the medical dictionary. I can tell you that right there.
Absolutely, David.
Did you say that Jeremy mentioned that at least Keith is trying to play? It's just I don't think he's very good at it.
No, I did not. Jeremy said that, yeah.
In a middle confessional. And that brought up the point to me that everybody out there doesn't have the advantage that we have of sitting at home watching and seeing how
Oh, sure.
some people aren't on the level of others. And Jeremy could suspect that Keith is coming out there playing a false game, coming out there acting like he hasn't seen the game. After seeing Kelly get taken out for knowing too much about the game, you don't know who you can trust. Keith could be a great actor. Really, I don't know anything about that. And in fact, he may have seen every episode. Is a real fan. So I mean, Jeremy's comment makes sense that he's not just being mean or sarcastic. He's saying, I don't think he's very good at the game. I'm pretty much deducing that now.
At least he's trying.
But I don't think he's that good. So I might have a chance of working on him.
Trying, but he's just not that good.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so now we're back at camp. They're all sitting around talking. And Josh decides, at least there's some strategy going on back at camp. Right? Josh decides he needs to talk with Baylor.
And, before...
okay.
Oh, wait a minute. You're right. Okay, yes, you're right. Sorry, I was backwards.
All right. So he takes Baylor off on a little walk. Some people have said online they think this may have been taken from a different time, maybe not on day 19. But
no, really?
As they showed it, it was day 19. And I feel like he takes the wrong approach. I don't think in Survivor you go up to someone and say, you owe me a vote. I saved you. You owe me. I don't think you try to strong-arm somebody onto your side by saying you owe me.
No, not at all. There is no owing in Survivor.
No. So, and that's why Baylor's like, I don't appreciate him saying the you owe me card, playing that card.
Blackmail, yeah.
Yeah, so.
I wrote down delusional conversation because both sides were off because then she brought up that she wouldn't expect that from the type of person that Josh is. With his Christian background and stuff. I just don't expect that. You don't give a gift expecting something in return. And I'm thinking, this is not life.
No, this is a game.
Don't judge people about who you know they are outside the game. This is all a game. You're right. What do you think Josh should have done? How do you think he should have approached her?
Well, he needs to approach her from the standpoint of how this can help her, not how she owes him, because then it's all about him. He needs to approach it. This is how getting on with us will help you and your mom.
Right.
Forget what I did. I did that. That's fine, but you don't owe me anything. It's not about me. It's about you and your mom.
See, I put you on the spot, and you came up with an answer immediately that I wrote down. Having hindsight of watching the episode and stuff, I think Josh should have approached it as, hey, it's a completely different game now. We're not old Coyopa. Is that right, Coyopa? We're not old Coyopa. We are a new tribe, Coyopa with an H, and I'm in an alliance with these guys that I don't want to be in an alliance with for long. I want to have something else working, and I really want to get back to working with you. Don't bring up past votes, because like Baylor said, you voted for me the first tribal. I am not going to forget that. So it's almost like Josh should have said, look, the only thing I want to bring from the past is that you and I worked together. We talked a lot, and I want to get back to that. This is what Baylor was worried about last week when she didn't want to vote for Josh without talking to him. This was that side of Baylor. Of course, he didn't know this, but the approach to me shouldn't have been, hey, it's time for you to pay me back what you owe me, because like we said, you don't owe anything in Survivor. Right. But it should have been he should have at some point, because Alec and Baylor are like fire and water. They don't mix at all. But to me, it should have been, hey, I don't want to stay with these guys any more than I have to. I want to get back to working with you in a secret alliance. Can we put something together? I think Baylor would have been complimented. She would have been honored almost. Wow, this is awesome. He wants to get back together and work on this, that, and the other. So Missy might not have bought it, but Baylor might have bought it and fought for it. So
okay, so we know that the players are still playing the game after the game, right?
Okay.
And Omega Ken just put on our chat room that Josh said in an exit interview that he wanted to scold Baylor, that he didn't expect her vote at that point. Okay, first of all, he could just be, hindsight replaying the game the way it makes him look good, right?
Right.
Hello, are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
But even if that were the case, even if he didn't think he had her vote, you're going to go scold her? That's not going to help you get her vote any chance at all of you getting her vote. So it's not your place to scold her. And then secondly, it's certainly not going to help your game. If anything, you're just digging the ditch even deeper. So even if his, making the game look better for himself, I don't think it makes him look any better. I think it still says you did the wrong thing.
I agree. I think it's poor social skills for the game. It's you never go to somebody demanding something or trying to never tell them what to do. Kim Spradlin rule: never tell them what to do. Lead them to what you want them to do, but never tell them what to do. Get them to come up with it.
Yep. All right. So then he talks to Jacqueline.
Yes.
And Jacqueline reiterates, "We are not voting for you, Josh.
Right.
John votes with me, and we are not voting for you."
So at this point, things are okay.
Yes.
They're still on Team Josh.
Yes.
The butterfly has not flown into the stage yet. It's about to.
That is correct. All right. Then we, let's see, then we have, I wrote too bad his alliance is Wes, Keith, and Alec.
There you go.
Because that's going to change her thoughts.
It's who you hang out with.
Yeah. Is your Hangout on air telling you to upgrade again?
No.
Mine is, and I just upgraded it like 2 days ago.
I'm not hearing the ding that I heard last week.
That's because it's coming through my earphones, which is really nice and pleasant. This app is using features that are out of date. All right, Exile Island. John.
This was just weird to me, the way John narrated his stay at Exile Island. And I don't say weird bad, but I mean weird that Jacqueline has been helping me make decisions. I'm the decision maker. She's been helping me make decisions.
Right.
That's called an advisor. And a person is an advisor usually because they know more than you. They have a better vision of what's going on, what can happen, and it's also in the sense that they don't take the heat that you take. You make the decisions, you take the heat, so they don't have to worry about repercussions as much. But I don't know. Some of his comments kind of echo what Alec is talking about. That Jacqueline will follow John. Jacqueline's going to do what John says, and here we're getting John saying that she's been a real source for him, big help for him, and it's almost like she's not going to win. I'm the one that's got to win, and she's been a great help for that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that just sounds kind of odd.
Yeah.
Almost as odd as Baylor saying that Missy and Josh were equals, but Missy was the mom and she's going to go with her.
Right.
This just kind of sounded kind of odd when he said it. He talked about the advantage of couples, and who's actually I wrote the advantage of couples is that you've got that person that completely trusts to bounce things off of. They have made great decisions together these past couple weeks, and it's been a real advantage. I think especially for John, because I think he could be gullible in some situations dealing with these other people like Jeremy and Josh, two very smart, articulate people. Right. And I also wrote who's actually making the decisions. I think that's not John, just my opinion.
All right. Well, John gets a clue, and that, combined with some well-placed producer questions, leads him right to the peninsula.
You mean some well-placed cameraman on top of the rock?
Well, sorry. No, I'm getting to that. Now I'm being totally tongue-in-cheek here. He looks up at a cameraman. He climbs to the cameraman. The cameraman looks down. John moves the cameraman. Voila, there's an idol.
There's a
no, but seriously, he was looking up. There was a cameraman up there.
Yes.
But anyway, nonetheless, this is where you get tinfoil hat people like Andy and others who say that this clue was not good enough for him to go straight to the peninsula and go find the clue. That there had to have been some producer, maybe not had to have been, but there was more than likely producer, like, what do you think might look like a sword sticking out of the island? Stuff like that.
Or even as simple as, what jumps out at you about the clue? Oh, right. The sword part. This thing out here looked like a sword. All right, now that you found the clue, now that you found the idol, we want you to compact your search for the idol, just in a couple sentences.
Yes.
Just compact it down so we can put a clip in.
And he goes, well, first you had no, don't say that.
Well, it was bad. I don't get too bad. He found the idol. That's good for him.
Yes, he did. He found the idol. So
this is also where he said around this time, him being away gives Jacqueline the chance to build relationships and not be seen as a tag-along.
Yeah, well,
so has Jacqueline not been building relationships all this time? I mean, to me, this is
I don't know.
I know it just sounds odd that he's saying now she gets the chance to play and not be seen as my tag-along.
Well,
so I guess he thinks that he's been playing the game and she's just been on his coattail the whole time. This just
either that, or they just hang around each other so much that they only talk to each other, or she only talks to him and she doesn't get out much.
True, that's very true. And he's also seen as the athletic, physical threat. I mean, he's seen as he's very outgoing, very friendly, and you're right, she could be quieter, talking to smaller groups instead of bigger ones.
Yeah.
And like you said, you got anything before his quotes about the idol?
Nope.
He said, it's exciting to have that much power in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And his last comment was, now whatever I want to happen is going to happen.
Maybe not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You need to check with your girlfriend first.
Yes. All right, day 20 was all Wes in the ocean and on his hands and knees out in the woods, so they didn't show us that.
Lots of bubbles, lots of other things.
Yeah. Y'all don't want to go over by that big rock. Trust me. No, that's not a fish you're stepping on.
What's over there? It's a taco bar, but it's not the taco bar you're thinking.
All right. Day 21. Remember, David, there are women in the audience. We must remember.
Sorry.
Day 21, Jeremy talking about how rude Wes was and Alec and Keith are. Jeremy's talking about how rude Wes, Alec, and Keith are. Now, he talks about they're the first ones to eat. They jump in front of the girls, and he probably said more. It's just interesting to me that Jeremy notices how these three guys act around the girls.
And what is he doing about it?
That is interesting because I actually thought that. Why aren't you saying anything about it? Why aren't you standing up and goes, come on, guys. Show some respect to the ladies.
Why pull somebody out of the hole they're digging? This is Survivor. That's part of the social game. We were talking online today. I think it got to the point where you and Mike and Cleveland were talking, and I was reading it or something, and he said something about David and Dwaine are nervous about this strand of posts.
He said Dwaine was nervous about this.
Well, I think he said me too. But,
yeah, he probably did.
You said something about it, commented about that, and I said, no, I'm just sitting back letting people do their own thing because as if I'm in the game.
Right.
And to me, Jeremy and Natalie didn't have any speaking this episode, but she had the eye. You could tell the facial expressions. Right. And everything people did that was in her favor, she smiled. She's like, are these people really talking like this? Are these people really making enemies? And Jeremy's like, to me, this was brilliant for Jeremy. I can't believe these guys are acting this way, but hey, go ahead. If you want to make a fool of yourself and make people more upset with you, we're already separated in alliances. The alliances are obvious, So I think he sat back and let it go. Why help someone that's not in your alliance?
All right. Good point. That's right. If they had been in his alliance, then absolutely he would need to say something.
I could see him pulling them aside, saying, dude, you got to fix that. Right. We need Jacqueline. Please don't make a problem with that.
Yeah. So not that I want to rehash this because it went all over on Facebook today. Mm-hmm. But not everybody's on our Facebook group.
Right.
But what got me was Alex, whenever he got all the stuff together in the little half a coconut.
The trash coconut.
He just hands it to her and says, here. Now, when he does that, he is assuming that he is assuming that she knows that it's her job to go throw it away. Right. That is the way he handed it to her. He didn't hand it to her and go, hey, do you mind throwing this away? No. He's handed it to her and goes, here. She's like, what's this for? It's trash. You need to go throw it away. And she's like, what? And I agree with her. That's not how you ask somebody to throw away trash. That is someone who is being condescending to someone else, who's putting themselves up here and the other person down here. You don't do that to people. My boss doesn't do that to me. You show respect. Okay, you don't agree with me?
Well, no, I'm not saying I disagree with you, but Alec, I think, has the social grace of a porcupine.
Well,
yeah, but at the same time, just to play a little devil's advocate, what if Baylor was lazy, didn't do anything around camp? What if everybody else had done a little pitching in? Some people worked on the fire, some people were out collecting logs, Some people were doing this and that, and Baylor was just sitting there beside Alec waiting for food. And Alec was fixing the food, or Alec was getting stuff ready, and Baylor's just sitting there waiting, not really doing anything while others are doing their little chores around camp. And Alec, in his sweet demeanor, says, "Hey, if you're not doing anything, how about taking this trash to the ocean?" Of course, he didn't say it that way. He didn't say it that way. He gave it to her at all. He gave it to her as a job and expected her to do it without question.
Right.
But could his motivation have been the fact that she doesn't do anything else? Because we get that later on, that she doesn't do anything, and nobody really defends her. But how he approached it, horrible social skills. Obviously, we completely agree on that. I'm just wondering if his intention was not to pick on little Baylor, my little sister, who I'm going to pick on. It was, I'm going to give it to the person that doesn't do anything. I know I want to keep fixing this food, so here's trash. You take this down there. That's your job. Since you don't have another job, everybody else has a job. You don't have a job here. Take this.
I think you're giving him far too much credit. Have you not been watching Alec play? But earlier in the season, he basically said, "I treat her like my little sister. She's like my little sister, and she needs to learn these lessons." You know, he was like, "I'm gonna treat her like my dad treated me. She needs to learn these lessons." He treats her like he owns her.
This is poor. Yes, poor social skills. Right. This is where the social game's got to come in. You can't treat anybody like that. I'm just wondering if his motivation wasn't being mean to a little girl. It was, hey, this is a lazy person that can do this because this is a job that needs to be done. But the way he went about it was obviously horrible.
Right. You know? Okay. So granted, his motivation was to get her to do something.
Right.
Well, he did it horribly.
Horribly. Yes.
Horribly. All right. So where am I? Alec tells the girls to keep... Oh, let's go on. Alec tells the girls, doesn't ask them, just, "Hey, girls, keep the fire going." Which, now that I can see, because you're like, "Hey, y'all keep the fire going while we go in here and do this." You know, that's all right. But then he has to throw it off with, "I know Natalie will. I don't know about those girls." That was unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
Now that was just... that was more chauvinistic, just Drewish attitude of, I'm just going to throw another jive in there and do this. And I don't know. I'd like to know where Josh and Reed were, because they seem a little more concerned with Jacqueline than Alec and Wes, or even, I don't know about Keith, but, Wes is like, "Oh, I'm not saying it, but he said it." And Alec, that's just arrogance. He's comfortable. He's happy. He knows what's going to happen. She's already locked in. I'm like, no, nobody is ever locked in.
Right.
You take off the wrong person, anybody could leave your group. It almost looked like they were going into shelter to take a nap.
Yeah.
Y'all tend to the fire. We're going to take a nap.
Right.
So.
It's almost like Mike K says in the chat room. It's like Drew's not around, so Alec gets to be the guy in charge. All the other times, whenever it's him and Drew around, Drew's always treating him like this. Drew's not around, so he's like, "Ah."
That's right. He set that tone, like you said, episodes ago when he talked about Baylor. I'm going to treat him the way I was treated.
Yeah. All right, so then we get a little bit of Alec and Keith just to kind of set up the whole Jacqueline and John situation. We have Alec saying, "I know that Jacqueline will do whatever John says, and I've got John." I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
So anything else you want to say about that?
About Keith and Alec?
Yeah. Anything before we get to the immunity challenge?
Yeah, just that Jacqueline flat out said at the fire, "Shouldn't they try and be nice to me?"
Yeah.
Because they need my vote. This is more like a football game where the quarterback comes out and says, "You need to go over here because I can't throw it to you unless you're coming from this side," as the defense listens. So to me, Jacqueline saying this, that they've got my vote right now, but shouldn't they be nicer if they want to keep my vote? And Natalie and Baylor are like, "Yeah, they should. They're mean. You should vote with us." This is one of Natalie's facial expressions. "Yeah, he's terrible." And Baylor's like, "I can't believe he said that to you." Yeah. Jacqueline's like, "He just lost my vote."
Yeah. And Natalie's taking notes.
Yeah, Natalie and Baylor do a mental high five.
Yeah.
Things are.
Natalie's taking notes for later on at Tribal Council.
Exactly. That's a smart girl. I love the way she's playing, and I think Baylor and Natalie also know that John is going to vote with Jacqueline.
Are you getting a Sandra vibe out of Natalie? Think maybe she could win? Quiet throughout the. I mean, you're not seeing a lot of her, hearing a lot of her, but next thing you know, she wins.
She's getting like a sleeper at it, but she just seems to be in the right place at the right time with the right people.
And this episode, when she spoke, and it was good stuff.
It was
Especially
great
Tribal
stuff.
Council.
Absolutely.
All right. Immunity challenge. It is a memory challenge, and if you saw the extra scene on CBS, you will see that Jeremy practiced memory challenges with his family for a long time before Survivor.
Yes.
And he was very confident that he was going to win.
Did you participate as the challenge went along?
Yes, and I did very well.
Gracie and I did.
Yeah.
And
I figured out how to make them words.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to the end, but I did the same thing Josh did. I went to the temple when you're supposed to get to the sun, I think.
I didn't.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. So let's see. Jeremy's okay. John out first. Must be that Exile Island. That has to be why he was out first.
Really? Now we're making excuses for people. I'm sorry, but that just seemed kind of odd.
Probst is like, whoa, John, you're one of my favorite. I mean, it must be Exile Island because you're so awesome.
Probably indicative of 2 days on Exile Island all alone. John, why don't you just take another turn? Yeah. Just go back and try it again.
John, don't accidentally put your hand behind the log. There's a bottle of water there. Shh. Don't tell anybody.
And be careful of that cheeseburger. Don't get any dirt on it.
Yeah. Get it out of your teeth before they show up. I'll try to drag this.
Actually, Jeff, I'm full. I mean, I ate snails while I was over there, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Had a good night's sleep.
Producers left me, chocolate bars and actually healthy food.
That's right.
Loaves of bread and stuff.
Peanut butter and jelly. There you go.
All right. Gets down to Josh and Jeremy. How ironic is that? How awesome is that?
That's awesome.
Yep, and Jeremy wins. I love it when this happens. He's obviously the target the whole episode. And he wins.
And Alex set it up pretty well when he said, as long as Jeremy doesn't win, we're good to go. Okay, well then Jeremy's going to win. Because you're not going to be good to go.
Right. All right, so they're back at camp, unless there was anything else you needed to talk about.
On the way out, there were 2 shots of 2 castaways. First Josh, then Baylor. Oddly enough, the 2 getting boats.
Interesting. Yep. Yeah. So congrats to Jeremy all around when they get back to camp. Although one alliance is looking awfully sad. It's like, way to go, Jeremy. Woo!
Yeah, that's one of those social things where you don't have to fake being nice because they're not going to reciprocate very well.
Yeah, they were so despondent. I mean, it's like Reed and Josh are sitting there going, "Oh, good job, Jeremy."
Well, it's exactly. It's like we like Jeremy. We don't mind being out here with Jeremy, but we don't want Jeremy to go too much further.
Right. Now, this is where I kind of got the idea for, well, I don't know if I got the idea here, but this is one of the things that raises the question, is Jeremy as good of a player as people are saying he is? He says that he's got his alliance together, but it's all about John and Jacqueline. But we don't ever see him talking to John and Jacqueline, do we?
We saw it last week where they went to get water. John and Jeremy spoke where they carried water together. I think Jeremy is letting Missy talk to John because John calls Missy mom. He's very close apparently to Missy. And if you remember the last time Hunapu went to tribal, John was not in the group. John voted with Drew. Or I don't know who he voted for. But remember that's where they threw votes all over the place.
Yeah.
So John wasn't in Jeremy's group. I don't know what Jeremy's plans were with John, but I don't think he ever was as close to John as he was to Missy, Kelly, and Julie, and Natalie. Okay. So I think Jeremy is using Missy to keep John close.
All right. If that's the case, then that's a good strategy.
Yeah.
If that's the case.
Absolutely.
What they showed us though was Missy and Baylor talking and Missy going to John.
Yes.
They haven't showed Jeremy talking to anybody about anything strategically this episode that I can remember.
Yeah.
So
now, what did you think about John and Jacqueline were talking? I think it was on the beach, and John is still. This is where they started talking about.
This is after the guys and Josh are talking about getting Baylor off.
Correct.
Right, and then it goes to John and Jacqueline on the beach. All right.
They have a heart-to-heart about the guys, and is this where she talks about how they treated him?
Yeah. I don't think we should go with them. They don't regard me, etc.
Yeah. Of course, that sounds emotional. Sounds like an emotional strategy. And then John says, but I don't want to face Jeremy at the end. And he reiterates the theory about facing Jeremy, the fireman with kids, not being able to beat him.
Yeah,
And
but that's not all she does. She also talks about we don't want to,
no,
Jeremy's
no,
one guy.
I know. I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that.
Oh, okay,
Because
okay,
that's what
okay.
she says, that John's thinking stupid. He's thinking too far ahead. We need to get there first. You want to set up your final tribal partners, but you got to get there. And there's a bunch of guys over there that have a better physical advantage than we do. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, and I like that John's thinking about final, but there's still, a long way to go. There's still a lot of game left for a lot of movements, a lot of twists, and a lot of turns.
Yeah.
And flat out, Jacqueline's exactly right. I feel more comfortable with Missy and Jeremy than I do trusting those guys, because those guys are tight, they're rude, and they treat me the way they do when you're not around, and they're going to turn on us probably before those people will.
Right.
So once again, the words of wisdom are coming from Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Versus John. So
yeah, I wrote in my notes I agree with her.
Absolutely. Absolutely agree with her.
And then of course, Reed walks up on a conversation. That's awkward.
Yeah.
So we're voting Baylor. Just wanted to let you know that. See you later.
Just so y'all know what we're doing.
Yeah. What are y'all doing over here? Huh?
Is everything good? Is everything okay? We're good. Of course, she wouldn't have said anything, because she had already made her mind up to go away from him.
Right.
But yeah, that was one of those odd moments. Thanks for coming over. Yeah.
Then we get Missy talking to Keith.
Now I missed the beginning. I missed the beginning of this. He said something like, "I've told you what I'm thinking. What are y'all thinking?" But I'm not sure if that's what he said when they first walked up.
I'm not sure. She said, "Are you basically doing whatever Josh says to do? You're doing?"
Yeah, because he started out saying like, "What are y'all thinking?" And that she's like, "Well, it doesn't matter what we're thinking. Are you basically following Josh? Because that's all we need to know about you. If you're just following what Josh does." And I'm thinking, Keith, at the taco bar, it was made pretty clear there were separate alliances. Yes. Why are you talking to the other alliance about your plans? You're talking to Missy, Natalie, and Jeremy. They are not in your alliance.
Strategy, man. Strategy, Keith.
If you want to go walk with them, that's one thing. But don't tell them what you're doing.
No, man, that's his strategy.
That's worse than the quarterback telling the receiver to go down this lane because I'm going to throw it to you. That's giving them the playbook, letting the defense call the plays.
Yeah. Oh, well. Now, I think he might have had some right points. She probably is overprotective of Baylor. Baylor probably is taking advantage of the fact that her mom is there,
Yep.
So that probably is happening. That doesn't mean, well, anyway.
What I got
feel like that probably is happening.
What I got from that was Missy didn't say anything about what Baylor has been doing. Missy just defended her daughter.
Got defensive, right.
And Keith came right out, and said she's not doing anything. She's lifted one stick since I've seen her. Right. And she'd have had 7 whoopings by the time I did this. But when he's saying all this, nobody is really defending Baylor, which leads me to believe that, is Missy saying something to Baylor about, hey, you need to start doing a little more around camp. So it's not so obvious that you're lazy, But, yeah.
Well, Mama needs to give her that advice.
Right. Exactly. And meanwhile, and Missy's getting tired of people gunning for her daughter. And this is blood versus water. This is what they want.
Yeah. This is exactly what they want.
And then if you look a little further left, you see this Jeremy guy and this Natalie girl grinning and loving every minute.
That's right.
Other people fighting. To me, those two are playing a very good social game. I think Missy's playing a good game in the way she talks to people and handles things, but except for Baylor. I think if Baylor wasn't there, Missy could be even better. But I think she's just trying to protect while playing her own game. But Jeremy and Natalie, I like watching them sit back. I mean, why does he have to be great? These people are destroying themselves.
Right.
How much does he have to do?
Right. Now, granted, if I'm on the island and my son's out there with me, even if I was being overprotective, I would still, I would get defensive. So we can understand that she got defensive.
Right.
Can't you? Just a little bit? I mean,
absolutely. Especially when somebody's talking about your child.
Right.
But you and I would not let our child be the laziest person out there.
Well, no, I wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't. And in fact, I would want my child to play.
You want me to vote you off? You keep laying there on that island and see who votes you off. I'll be the one voting you off.
My strategy is that we would build the layers from there. Yeah, I brought you into this world. I'll vote you off this game.
Yeah.
But I would want my child to play like me. You know, you pitch in, you do your part. You don't want to be single. When they need an easy vote out and they like everybody, but they want to get rid of one person, they'll pick the lazy person, or they'll pick the person that eats too much, or they'll pick the person that just stands out. Don't give them something for you to stand out with.
Yep.
So.
Yep. All right. So let's see. Where are we? Oh, Missy talks to Baylor.
Right.
So it's time to talk to John and Jacqueline. Well, John. Not John and Jacqueline. John. And maybe there's more to this, but this seemed like the worst argument to me. Quote, I think we just need to stick with our plan and vote out Josh. I mean, he needs to go. And then that's all she does. Now, I'm sure there was more, but right after she said that, she just kind of looks at him.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, my thought was, is she playing it as if she doesn't think they're flipping at all? As if they've been with them the whole time? Because I'm sure that Baylor told Missy, hey, Jacqueline is with us. Apparently she was with them, and now she's with us. You know, I'm sure these conversations get shared. I mean, that thing at the campfire was pretty big, where Jacqueline talked about, shouldn't they be catering to me because if they want my vote? Because they're not getting it now.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure these things get shared. Even Natalie, I'm sure she shared it with Missy or Jeremy.
Yeah.
So I think Missy kind of went to John as if nothing was wrong. They were never considering the other side. And we're just going to stick to the plan and get rid of Josh. He is the leader. We take out the leader, and then the rest will fall.
Yeah.
So.
Then we get a confessional from John, and it's interesting because sometimes the splices aren't as obvious.
Yeah.
But this time, in this sentence, it was obviously a splice. He said, the success we've had so far has been the result of Jacqueline and I working together very well. Obvious splice, completely different sound, but this time, then another splice, Jacqueline's not on the same page as I am.
Yeah.
That's what I call making the guy say something you want him to say.
that I guess was trying to build the drama, you know, trying to make us think there's a chance they wouldn't vote together, when in fact he was with Jacqueline as soon as she told him what they were doing.
Yeah,
that's just kind of what I got. Even though we even got a little snippet of Jeremy saying he doesn't trust John, which I think is setting something up for later down the road. Yeah. But Jacqueline came back with, I trust Missy and Jeremy. I found it interesting that John was laying down in the shelter with Josh's crew, letting them know that the other team was going after Josh.
Yeah.
So why not be honest with both sides, you know?
Yeah. All right. One thing she says, but, you know, whenever we have her on the log, this is when I never doubted. I never even suspected that they were going to split their vote. She still says someone will be mad at us. Yes. Because they will still vote together.
That felt like right before tribal. I agree.
Yeah. So, anyway. All right. Next we have tribal council. And then a little more interesting tribal council than we've had.
This was really, really good. So we had some smart people talking.
Jeremy says, if I didn't win today, my name was being written down. And Josh goes, yep, ditto. Ditto to that. Yep. And then what does West do, David? What does West decide to do at tribal council?
West decides to name his alliance.
Yes.
Flat out. But
Probst didn't even ask him, what is your alliance?
Yeah. Well, it's like this. But he forgot somebody. You know, when there's a swing vote, you include the swing vote. You don't want to make them feel like they're not part of your alliance. You know, so, well, there's us, and there's them, then there's John and Jacqueline. No, you want to be included. You want to feel, even if they're going to blindside somebody, you still make these social effort to make them feel like they're part of your family.
That's right. So that obviously makes Probst ask, so that means the rest of you are the other side? And Jeremy's like, well, we hope. And then it becomes clear that that John and Jacqueline are in the middle, and they say we're in the middle. Right? And he's like, wow, y'all been in the middle for like 3 or 4 weeks. Good for you.
I think this, if you don't mind, is a great time to bring up the poll question.
Absolutely. Go for it.
About being to swing or not to swing.
Okay.
Do you want to? My question was: do you want to be the swing vote, or do you want to be locked in an alliance?
All right. This was on our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group.
I can't read every comment. I got pages and pages and pages. Not as many pages as your comment brought, but pages and pages and pages. Jackie Mitchell said it usually doesn't go well for people, but with John and Jacqueline, it seems to be working out. Perhaps it is because there is so much dissension and confusion in the two main alliances. That's interesting.
Mhm.
Kristen said so far it's been a good position for them. Andy brought up a good point. Andy Baker said the problem with being the swing votes now, they either ride out being with Jeremy's alliance and get targeted when they're down to 6, just like Reed said, or they dance between the two alliances, which they're not really equipped to do strategically or intellectually.
Okay.
Yep. Let's see. To answer the poll question, according to the Giant Ninja, Will said it is more secure to be in a tight alliance that has the number. Swing votes get voted out. Nobody in a tight alliance gets voted out until they have to be. That's why Cochran 1.0 came in 7th. He underestimated how tight Coach's alliance was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's
That's
see.
true.
Omega Ken said John and Jacqueline need to stick with the move they made tonight. It was the right one per the reasons Jacqueline gave. Those guys will be tougher in immunity. Yeah, let me almost finish. Miko said, when you're in an airtight alliance with someone, as a pair, you can continue flipping between alliances to make sure you always stay with the people you need to be with. But it can only work if it's a pair no one knows about. When everybody can identify you as a pair, they will eventually grow tired of letting you decide the course of the game, and they will try to break you up.
Yeah.
So his answer is, I think John and Jacqueline need to lay low for a while and now to make people forget they were ever the swing votes. Because, yeah, it was brought out at Tribal. The last 3 tribal councils, they've been it. As
Yep.
Cass said last season, there will be many more betrayals left, so they haven't lost anything yet. I like what Al said. Simply having the swing vote is a bad sign. You're nobody's best friend.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that was a really good point. And Cass chimed in. She said, do 2 votes really constitute a swing? And she's right, because really 1 vote either way could have done it. It would have been interesting if John and Jacqueline parted ways last night in the vote and then came back together later. Could have used the couple strategy in a new way. Feign a split only to recoup when they needed it down the line. In the meantime, John would stick with the boys, take out Missy's extra vote, and be able to save Jacqueline, then let the alphas go after each other, knowing he had an idol. In the end, they would have 2 solid votes, pull Wes and Alec in as a GOAT Final 3 lock, and run the show. Would have been a fun way to go.
That's why she was on the Brains Tribe.
There you go.
See, my friends, join our Facebook group. We have former survivors on there that like to join in on the conversation.
Yep. Sorry I didn't read every comment. A lot of great comments. But if you want to read every comment, go to our Facebook group.
That's
I think
right.
you just said that.
All right, so I really like Natalie's approach. I really like her in like I said earlier, she's playing very smartly, at least in this tribal council. So I'll probably stop it a little ways into it because it like naturally leads to another conversation. But I want to give you Prope's question and then Natalie's answer.
Yeah, this is a multi-part great answer.
Yes.
Natalie, when you see that John's getting approached by everybody, what's the play? Because everybody's probably got a pretty good pitch.
It's so weird, but I feel like almost protective over the original Hunapus. And John was somebody from the start that we just immediately felt that we could trust. So I just hope that you pick a side who you can rely on and trust in moving forward.
Okay, right there. She immediately appeals to original tribe. I trust you. I hope you'll make the right choice.
Love it. Because Jeremy's saying to her in private, I don't trust John.
Right.
In public, she's saying, we trust you.
Right.
Flat out. I'm telling everybody we trust you. Love your comment. Love that public comment. Go ahead.
Yep. And then she carries on. I'll back up just a hair.
On and trust in moving forward. The funny thing is now, those guys, they're campaigning for Jacqueline, but around camp, when John is out there, the behavior doesn't seem like they even need Jacqueline. And when John is out there,
Which
it's
is
even
so frustrating to me.
Okay, so Jacqueline cuts her off. But she takes 2 approaches. Not only should you stick with your original tribe and stuff like that, and we trust you, but look at how these guys are treating your girl. Way to go, Natalie.
All the way to leading up to tribal, Natalie saying, just give me a chance to speak.
Yes.
I just want to have something to say so I can transition into this. Beautiful segment. Beautiful segment. Bringing it out. Reminding them, do you want to trust those guys over there? Because they don't treat your girlfriend well at all.
Mm-mm.
You know,
Nope.
we trust you, which means we trust her, which means you should not want to be with those guys.
That's right. Way to go.
I like Jacqueline said, well, I don't know if I like it or not, but she said, we make decisions together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. All right. So then, Reed, I think we should
Well, before he does,
Okay.
though, Missy reiterates these guys are like frat house boys. You know,
Yes.
they just, I mean, it's a piling on thing. It's really good. It's like multiple lawyers in a case on the same side. They
Mhm.
each have their arguments and they each want to get them out. And if this was planned pre-tribal council, it's brilliant. Keep throwing things out. Keep reminding John and Jacqueline why you want to go with the mature people, not that have the little lazy girl with them, but anyway, the mature people, the people that will treat you right, the people that have always treated you right, treat you with respect, you know. And then and of course Keith's got to chime in to save himself. That, you know, I mean, I haven't heard Wes have gas in like 24 hours or 6 hours. I mean, I've had some. We've all had some. This isn't the Hilton, you know.
It ain't the Hilton, you know. Yeah. All right. Reed says, "Hey, I think we should get a chance to make our case to John and Jacqueline."
Big props. I love that. Speak up when you got the chance, because you might not get another chance.
Yeah. Do you think he made a good argument though?
He did until Jeremy spoke up,
Yeah.
because I hate to say it, because he really didn't have as good of information or intel as Natalie did. His argument, I don't know what he could have said to have combated what she said, because not only did Natalie have the Hunapu trust thing, she said it first. You know, if Reed had thought of it, he just didn't get to say it first. And if he'd have said it, it would have sounded like he was piling on what Natalie said.
Right.
But you know, his thought was, you know, I mean, he could have easily gone back to saying, you don't like singles. You need to remember, you don't like singles. You know, they're going to turn and vote you out, which was kind of obvious thing. Well, everybody's going to end up voting everybody out.
Yep.
So Jeremy jumped in and said, hey, you know, and this reminded me of the first tribal council at Borneo. I think we talked about this earlier this season when I watched it, and it was like, it wasn't who gets asked the question by Jeff, it's who speaks loudest and who speaks last. And Jeremy got the last word in. You know, he said, you guys aren't going to vote them out either? Because they are a big threat. And Reed said, no, we'd never vote them out. We'll take them all the way to the end. Isn't it going to be a Final Four? You know? Of course, Wes and Alec probably wouldn't catch on to that. But anyway, they just go from there.
All right, Keith spits, so it's obviously time to vote.
Well, Probst does ask, do you like being in the swing vote? You know, third time in a row, do you like being in the swing vote? And then John says, well, right now, yes, but they're game-changing votes, and that can be scary. That's a great point, because these three decisions, well, the first two weren't, but this one's going to be huge when it comes to the jury, because now you're building the jury.
Right. All right. Once the fifth vote went to Josh, you knew it was you knew what it was going to be, because it was 5 versus 4. So once it was even, then you knew that John and Jacqueline had which side they went to. So and Baylor remembered episode 1. Boom.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. On the way out, when they showed everybody's vote in the credits, and they gave Josh his little moment, it's like his initial reaction, you know, shorter than ours. He blamed himself for revealing too much about himself. And I'm wondering, really after he watched last night, does he still blame himself? Or does he blame those frat house boys?
Yeah.
Ruining camp life for the girls.
So that's the episode. We told you what we thought. Sunday night is your time to tell us what you think. Actually, before then, we've already got one feedback. You can submit your feedback for the feedback show at stwdd.com/feedback. We have a phone number. We have email. You can use our online microphone, audio recorder, and leave us feedback by Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time for our feedback show on Sunday night, where we will be live and you can watch and chat and be part of the chat group while we do it. So we do want to invite you to do that. Be a part of our feedback show. So you want to talk about stock up? I don't have a stock up or stock down. I guess I could probably think of one.
Well, let me do mine, and then you think if you can come up with anything different. My stock down this week went to Baylor's big brother, to Alec. I don't know what more he could have done to make himself look bad to anybody, even probably his own alliance. I just thought if there was any chance of a quiet surfer guy getting through, he just blew it, you know, from the way he acted.
Right.
My stock up went to Jacqueline, because Natalie, Jeremy, Baylor, Missy now know, to my opinion, who's really calling the shots between Jacqueline and John. Because whether they knew or not that John still wanted to go against Jeremy, Jacqueline told the girls he's going to vote where I want him to vote. And if
Right.
they were flipping, she even said that I'm not going with them. And so I think she's in better standing. Plus, she has John's vote. That's 2 votes right there. So, and they could flip back at any time. So I think Jacqueline's in a better place. I don't know if she can win, but I think she's definitely in a better place than she was when the season started, or even last week.
Right. All right. I don't have a stock up, stock down.
Okay.
I'm not going to have one. So you want to talk about next time on, just a little bit?
Sure.
Well, there's only one thing I want to say, and it's not a spoiler. Okay. So Catherine, you can stay on. It's not a spoiler. Why do they let people go through other people's bags? Shouldn't there be a rule that says you're not allowed to go through other people's bags?
I don't know. Because if I was alone at the camp, which I would never be, because you never go off by yourself anywhere, I mean, I would be tempted. But Reed's got to find...
So let's have a rule that you can't, or you get in trouble.
Yeah, because you're right. We're going to see this, at least the second invasion of somebody's property this season. There's probably been more. But
I mean, if I was on Survivor, I'd have my bag with me everywhere I went now.
Yeah.
You know?
But you don't want to be too obvious.
I just don't think it's right. I just think it's wrong for them to be able to go through people's bags. So, anyway. My thoughts. Hey, guys, we have really nice T-shirts and hoodies that are on sale right now. They're only good. They're only on sale through Tuesday. All right? Christmas is coming up. You have friends who like Survivor. Maybe they like the show. Maybe your kids listen or your parents listen and you want to give them a T-shirt or whatever. Go to our website, stwdd.com. On the right, you'll see a picture of a bunch of T-shirts. Click on that. But our hoodies are $29.99, and they're high-quality hoodies. We got, and there's 5 different colors. There's a dark gray charcoal T-shirt, men's T-shirt. There's a woman's wow pink T-shirt, and there's like 3 different colors of the long sleeve shirt. Now, I ordered myself a hoodie and a men's T-shirt, and I ordered my wife a wow pink shirt, which basically means I just, spend all of our profit on my order alone. Seriously, actually. Are you there, David? Okay, there you are. But I will tell you this. They have sizing charts, but these aren't all like the same, like some are Gildan, some are something else. So check your shirt size, find a shirt that you like, measure it across, from seam to seam underneath the arms, and go on the sizing chart and get the right size, because I ordered different sizes for myself depending on what I was ordering. I also like my hoodies to fit a little bigger, but still. So just but go get your T-shirt or hoodie. They're on sale through Tuesday. I think that's the 18th is Tuesday. Yeah, sometime Tuesday evening. So go in there, and I got to tell you something, David. I messed up on my order. And this T-shirt company is so much better than our last one. I messed up on our order, and on our last one, once you ordered, boom, it was done. You couldn't change your order. You couldn't cancel your order, nothing. It was horrible. With this company, I actually made a mistake and accidentally ordered 2 T-shirts instead of a hoodie and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I was able to go in and change sizes. And in this case, since I ordered a different style, I just canceled my order and then reordered. But I could have went in and changed what style what size my shirt was, or quantity and stuff like that. Really easy to work with. Great company.
Sounds like we found the company for the next time we do this.
Yeah. So anyway, we just want you, if you're interested in getting a shirt, get a shirt, and if you're not, then don't. That's fine. So. There you go.
Mike in Cleveland called me out for giving stock down to Alex, saying there was never any value in the first place.
Yeah, Alex, I was kind of wondering about that.
But at the same time, I mean, he wasn't at necessarily at the bottom of the totem pole, but socially he was a target.
Who was below him?
Well, there's probably a couple people with him. I just don't think he was necessarily targeted.
Okay.
He's definitely targeted now, especially by Missy and Baylor. And then Al said, not sure he had stock to begin with. Al said you can use Al's. He said stock down Keith. He was all the rage 7 days ago, but not anymore.
Yeah, there you go.
So.
Mike in Cleveland asks, do they come in trucker large? I'm a little self-conscious. Well, I don't know how large you are. but they do come pretty big. Go on the website and check the sizing chart, and you can see what sizes they come in.
Christine had a good question. She can never figure out why Josh didn't abandon the frat boys earlier. I don't think he had a choice. I don't think Jeremy was approachable, and I don't think he was going to get. He knew he wasn't. Once he couldn't get Baylor, he's kind of stuck, and I think that's why he wasn't so upset at the end when it's like, as much as he wanted to be mad that he was out, that he just was like, it's what I had.
Yeah.
You know, I lost my alliance with, lost anything he had with Kelly and Dale because they were gone, and it is what it is.
Yep.
So.
All right. Well, David, I have thoroughly enjoyed talking to your microphone tonight.
Glad you
Your
like it.
camera angle is interesting.
This is, I just got home from practice camera angle.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But we just got David some new equipment. So hopefully he will. Besides just the computer, we got him a new microphone thing, like really cool, that hooks onto his desk and all that kind of stuff. And so anyway, so he'll be looking sharp here pretty soon. Not his video; it's still not high definition, but other than that,
there is no camera that would make this any better. So.
All right, we're going to try this GarageBand thing tonight. Last time we tried it, when I combined David's local recording with my local recording, about every 20 minutes of the show was about a half a second off, which was really odd. So,
yes.
There you go.
Speaking of recording, what is this five thing that you're doing now?
Okay, so you know how you have been bugging me for 2 years because I always tell you I'd love to do voiceover work?
Well, what I've been saying is you should speak a lot more in our podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I've always wanted to do voiceover work. That's like commercials and, stuff like that, where you're the guy that says, I don't know what they say. Just think of a commercial. Think of a Taco Bell commercial and the guy that's talking while they're showing stuff.
Right.
That's who I want to be. Just kind of on the side. I got this nice little recording studio here in my closet in the back of my house. And I've always wanted to do it, and I had that disastrous audition back when I was 20-something years old.
Yeah.
And so I finally talked to Chris Miller again, because he's always told me you need to do this. Mike Kay in SoCal has told me that I need to do this. So I made a demo.
Me telling you made no impression whatsoever. It took strangers that we've only known for a short while.
No, it did. It did have an impression on me, David.
Okay.
It did. But Chris Miller, being in the actual radio business, had a pretty strong influence as well. So one day last week, on a Thursday, I think, I took a day of vacation. I was taking a day of vacation anyway. And no, it was last Tuesday. And I decided, okay, I'm gonna practice, right? So I got some online scripts and I started practicing. I sent them to Chris, and I said, "What do you think? Do you think I should go for this?" And he's like, "Here's some advice. Here's some websites. I think I already told you about this. I listened to these guys and went, oh my gosh, But then I recorded some more, and he goes, use these from this point to this point. Make yourself a demo. So I made a demo. All right. And I found this site called Fiverr.com, and it's Fiverr.com / Dwaine Stroud, DWAINESTROUD, and that's where mine is. So this is getting my foot in the door, right? And you'll see my little Survivor Talk cartoon character, my thing. And there's a video which has my demo on it, all right? I got immediately, Kathy Trantham hired me, $5. That's all it cost her, $5, and I did a voiceover. Happy Survivor Wednesday, right? You probably saw it on her Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
And then she got me to do a video for free. Oh, Anyway, so but then I got like a real gig from someone who doesn't know me.
There you go.
And so that was pretty cool. So for $5 I got to say something like another Motown classic from some radio, and I got to do that. So
is that what the tracks you sent me this morning to listen to?
No. So then out of the blue I get a third one. And it's I assume it's a lady, it might be a guy. But they're wanting me to, so they're like, it's for the auto, what's it called? Like a telephone system. On an auto answer.
Auto answer, yeah.
Yeah, auto answer. So it's like I don't get to record in nice quality. I got to record in 8-bit mono, some weird codec that took me an hour and a half to figure out how to do. But so this is so cool, David. So I got to do why the heck did you call on Thanksgiving call? You know? It's Thanksgiving, go eat with your family, stop calling us type of call. It wasn't that way, you know, it was nice, of course. So I turned that into her, and she or him, I don't know. And I get an email back. It was great. Actually, it could have been a little louder, so I immediately sent back one that was a little louder, and she's like, "That's perfect." And next thing I know, I've got another gig from her. Ooh. Right? How cool is that? And it was for like 107 words, so it was 3 gigs. It was great, gig being like a job.
Yeah.
You know, because you like it's $5 per 50 words. You know, so I recorded another one. My gosh, this is so awesome. I'm doing. If you call McPherson Oil over Thanksgiving, you're gonna get my voice. How cool is that?
So everybody should call and leave a message.
No. What you need to do, if you own a business or you're going to be doing a commercial or something like that, and you want some voiceover work, it's cheap. Fiverr.com. Literally, it starts at $5, and it doesn't get high too quickly.
Yeah, because 50 words is a lot of words.
Yeah, I mean, so if you have 101 words, though, boom, that's 3.
There you go.
But anyway, Fiverr.com with 2 R's /Dwaine Stroud. Thank you. We're not going to plug that every week, but that's kind of my new thing that I'm trying to do, trying to get into voiceover work. If you know of anybody,
awesome.
Like if you own a business or you're a lawyer and you need a commercial for your law firm, a voiceover artist.
Yeah, see, I'm in communications, and we have a lot of those because of the systems that we work at, because I work at a hospital, and we have 2 people that do it, 1 female, 1 male, and they're the only people that do it.
Right.
So, because of the way they speak and their voices, and they do certain messages. So, right. But yeah, that's good work because not every company has a voice that they want to put on the air for permanent use. So
yeah, pretty cool. So my voice is out there introducing songs on a Motown classic radio station, and my voice is on a auto answer, and my voice is on Kathy Trantham's Facebook group announcing Survivor every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, yeah.
That's right. So anyway, thank you if you're interested. I am doing that to make a little extra cash for my family. This is not Survivor Talk related. This is I have 3 boys going to be in college in the next 2 years. That's what it is.
That's right.
All right. So that's about all I got. Follow us on Twitter at Survivor_Talk. Join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Survivor Talk. By the way, if you're watching on video, don't go away. I have a surprise for you at the end of the video that will not be on the audio podcast. All right. So you're going to want to watch that. And let's see. I don't have any knock-knock jokes or anything for tonight. Music for tonight's show is Summit by Skrillex, and it's the end of the game as you know it because this season is not being very inspiring. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of parodies next season because rumor has it that next season is really good. It's just it. So anyway, thanks again for listening, everybody. Oh yeah, after we sign off, people that are watching, you get the special treat. So thanks for listening, everybody. That's all I've got. Now, how about you, Dave?
I'm good.
All right. See you, everybody.
See ya.
All right. Those of you who are watching on YouTube Live, David and I have this new awesome ad, and we're going to show it to you. Here it goes. I just think that's awesome. Are you there? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
What are you doing? Were you even paying attention?
I didn't see it.
Oh, I thought it showed to everybody.
I didn't see it.
Did y'all not see the, hey, y'all in the chat room, did y'all not see that? Oh, crud. Well, sorry,
It
y'all.
says, I guess the ad is of David. I don't know
Yeah,
if that's what
sorry,
that
y'all.
means.
I don't know how that happened. Okay, well, no big deal. There is debate. Actually, I put on Facebook, I know which of one of those I am and which one is David. Do you, David, know which one is you and which one is me?
Of course I do.
And this isn't going on the show, so this is just us talking, and those who are watching get to see it. So I think the purple one is me.
I do too, but not for the reason that your wife gave.
No, I don't think it for that reason either, although I have hair and you don't. That's not why I think either. I think it's because you like to...
Knowing you, I would have food on me. I
Okay.
have no doubt about that. But when you don't get your wings or your Chick-fil-A, I can see you turning into that purple character.
I was thinking of it more from the standpoint that that you like to mess with me when I'm in a bad mood.
That crossed my mind as well. Who would taunt who more? And I am definitely one that likes to push your other buttons when you're already purple and hair's sticking out everywhere.
That's right. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for hanging around. If you watched on YouTube, you got the little extra. Sorry about the YouTube video not actually showing up, but it is in our feed.
And it's on our Facebook page.
Yeah. Thanks to all of you in the chat. That was awesome.
Yeah.
We had a pretty good group of people watching, too. So, y'all have a great night. See y'all later.
Night.
But I'm going to hit upgrade now. I'll stop broadcast.